Hi, I'm Ross Muscato. I hope you are enjoying the summer, which lasts this year, as I am inclined to tell people, until September 21st. It's a nice month, September, with warm days and cool nights. With Labor Day 2017 in the rearview mirror, we are, to use a colloquialism, back to work. But of course, America, collectively and on the whole, is never not at work. No, not this nation. Our work ethic is woven into and throughout. It is deeply integrated into the DNA of our marrow and soul. America is a hardworking nation. Our work ethic is fundamental to our greatness. You know, if there can be such a thing as cosmic and psychic energy, I suspect that such energy just might vibrate through and be resident in the ether that surrounds where I stand as I address you from the Easton Community Access Television Studio on Oliver Street in the northeastern village section of Easton. This building once housed Steadfast Rubber, a factory in which manufactured were rubber products for the shoe, luggage, and book binding industries. This building knew labor. Today, the building, refurbished and renovated, houses several types of businesses, including Douglas King Builders, the company that did the refurbishing and renovation of the property. Easton Public School offices are here. So too is the Steadfast School of Music and Arts, where artists share and teach their art, their craft. Yes, most of the labor performed in this building now is more thought labor. However, also located here on the other side of the structure is Shoveltown Brewery, which makes excellent beers and has a tap room open from Thursday through Saturday. Anyone who knows anything about beer making understands it is a craft and an art and a science, one that is the synthesis of brains and at least a bit of brawn. Of course, here in this section of Easton, the air, the atmosphere was at one time busy with the heavy, loud, and sonorous rhapsody of the machinery of the Ames Shovel Company. The company was the world leader in manufacturing of shovels. Hard and difficult labor performed in this company produced the instruments that in turn were used in other forms of labor, other forms of hard and difficult labor that built America and were used in war and defense that protected and saved America. Now, to get back to that notion of psychic and cosmic energy, perhaps, just perhaps, if one is sensitive enough, if one is in tune, she can detect the resident hosts of those who once labored in the factories here, those of Steadfast, those of the Ames Shovel Companies, and those of other factories in and of the village. For that which is sacred, that which is of high virtue endures. Labor is most sacred. Labor is of the highest virtue. Earlier this week, I sat just across the street from here at the Governor Oliver Ames estate. I sat overlooking Shovel Shop Pond, one of the waterways that the Ames family created as a component of harnessing the power of water that would, in combination with manual labor that man supplied, fuel the machinery that made the shovels that were used to make America. I had with me a book. The title of the book is Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. The book is the autobiography of one of this nation's most remarkable men. It is the story of a man born into bondage, of a man whose exceptional literacy was almost all self-taught, of a man who escaped bondage, and of a man who tirelessly and courageously was a leader in the abolitionist movement, in the movement to eradicate the obscenity of slavery. It is obscene slavery, to subjugate and to own and to brutalize a people. It is obscene to steal a person's labor. It is obscene to, as Abraham Lincoln, the future president, said in a debate, quote, "You toil and work and earn bread, and I'll eat it," end quote. And as I looked through the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, I arrived at a passage that describes the early days of Douglass's life after having escaped Maryland in slavery and arriving in 1838 with his wife, Anna Murray Douglass, who actually had been born into freedom in Baltimore. In the city of New Bedford, they arrived. Douglass was now a free man living in freedom. Now, in this passage, Frederick Douglass provides a powerful and moving and wholly valuable and instructive sermon on the virtue of work, on the sacredness of work. As his words tell us, no, he is not in a perfect place, but it is a place absolutely glorious when compared from whence and from where he came. Here are Frederick Douglass's words, and I quote, I have them here. "I found employment the third day after my arrival in stowing a sloop with a load of oil. It was new, dirty, and hard work for me, but I went at it with a glad heart and a willing hand. I was now my own master. It was a happy moment, the rapture of which can be understood only by those who have been slaves. It was my first work, the reward of which was to be entirely my own. There was no master you standing ready the moment I earned the money to rob me of it. I worked that day with a pleasure I had never before experienced. I was at work for myself and newly married wife. It was to me the starting point of a new existence. When I got through with that job, I went in pursuit of a job of caulking. But such was the strength of prejudice against color among the white caulkers that they refused to work with me. And of course, I could get no employment. Finding my trade of no immediate benefit, I threw off my caulking habiliments and prepared myself to do any kind of work I could get to do. Mr. Johnson kindly let me have his wood horse and saw, and I very soon found myself a plenty of work. There was no work too hard, none too dirty. I was ready to saw wood, shovel coal, carry wood, sweep the chimney, or roll oil casks, all of which I did for nearly 3 years in New Bedford before I became known to the anti-slavery world, end quote. As we, America, are enjoying our final days of summer, as we, I employ that term again, are back to work, please, I ask of you, and if you would, consider the ennobling virtue of labor. Please reflect on the dignity it renders in which it affords. Think and reflect on what Frederick Douglass told us. We are a great nation, yes we are. We, this America, this republic, and we are so, and will continue to be so, in major measure, because America is hardworking. We are so, and will continue to be so, because we appreciate the value of work, of what it renders, of what it provides, what it protects, and what it makes possible. Thank you for watching.